In the vast, uncharted reaches of the galaxy, where stars burned like forgotten promises and nebulae swirled in colors no human eye had ever truly captured, Captain Jax Harlan steered his sleek scout ship, the *Stellar Nomad*, through the shimmering veil of the Zerathian nebula. Jax was no ordinary explorer. He was a rogue with a grin that could disarm a pirate and eyes that sparkled with the kind of mischief that got men into trouble or out of it. Born on the dusty fringes of Earth's colonies, he traded the monotony of corporate mining for the thrill of the unknown, charting worlds where no human had set foot. But today, fate had something far more intoxicating in store. The nebula's gases danced around his vessel like ethereal lovers, but Jax's instruments screamed warnings. A massive energy signature loomed ahead, a Zerathian warship, cloaked in shadows and bristling with weapons that could vaporize a fleet in seconds. Zerathia, the empire of fierce warriors from the planet Nethuria, was legendary for its unyielding conquests. Their people were alien in every sense, elegant, deadly, with skin as pale as moonlight and ears that tapered into delicate points like ancient elven lore brought to life. And at the helm of this beastly ship was Zara Voss, the most feared of them all. Zara was a vision of lethal beauty. Her hair cascaded like a waterfall of pure silver, framing a face that could launch 1,000 ships or sink them. Her body was a masterpiece of curves and strength, clad in a form-fitting suit of iridescent armor that hugged her like a second skin, accentuating every graceful movement while revealing just enough to stir the imagination. Razor-sharp claws extended from her fingertips, retractable weapons honed by evolution and battle. She had destroyed entire armadas single-handedly. Her reputation whispered in fear across the stars, the deadliest warrior girl alive, a purring predator who showed no mercy. Jax's ship shuddered as the warship's tractor beam locked on. He cursed under his breath, but a thrill ran through him. "Well, this is new," he muttered, flipping on his comms. The view screen flickered to life, revealing Zara's piercing violet eyes glaring back at him. She stood on her bridge, arms crossed, her tail, yes, a subtle, feline-like appendage swishing with irritation. Human intruder. Her voice purred through the speakers, a melodic growl that sent shivers down Jax's spine. "You dare trespass in Zerathian space? State your purpose before I reduce your pathetic vessel to cosmic dust." Jax leaned back in his chair, flashing his trademark smile. He couldn't help it, danger was his aphrodisiac. "Whoa there, gorgeous, trespass, I was just admiring the view. Your nebula's got more curves than, well, let's just say it's impressive." He winked, his words laced with teasing banter that had gotten him out of tighter spots before. But Zara's eyes narrowed, her claws extending with a metallic ***. "Insolent fool," she hissed, her voice dripping with venom and something else, curiosity. "You mock me, the destroyer of fleets? I could end you with a thought." Jax chuckled, his heart racing. "Mock, nah, that's flirting where I come from. Come on, warrior queen, let's chat. What's a stunning alien like you doing in a nebula like this? Guarding treasures, or just looking for some excitement?" The standoff was tense, the air thick with unspoken threats. Zara's ship powered up its weapons, energy humming like a predator's growl. But Jax didn't back down, he provoked her further, his words dancing on the edge of danger. "Bet you've never met a human before. We're full of surprises, tougher than we look and way more fun." She paused, her head tilting slightly, those elf-like ears twitching. For a split second, her fierce facade cracked, replaced by a flicker of intrigue. Little did Jax know, his accidental provocation had ignited something deeper, a spark that would turn this tense encounter into an alliance forged in fire. As the two ships hung suspended in the nebula's glow, Zara's voice softened just a fraction. "You have 10 seconds to explain yourself, human, or I'll board your ship and teach you respect personally." Jax's grin widened. "Promise, I'd love a personal lesson from the galaxy's deadliest beauty." The beam tightened, pulling him closer. What started as a simple exploration mission was spiraling into something far more perilous and exhilarating. Zara, the untouchable warrior, felt an unfamiliar pull toward this bold human. His teasing had pierced her armor, awakening emotions she thought long buried under layers of battle-hardened resolve. In the moments that followed, alarms blared on both ships. A third vessel emerged from the shadows, a betrayer's craft, one of Zara's own commanders turning traitor for power. Laser fire erupted, rocking the *Stellar Nomad*. Jax acted on instinct, maneuvering his ship to shield Zara's from the onslaught. "Hang on, warrior girl, I've got your back." Zara's eyes widened in shock as Jax's shields absorbed the hits. Why would you? Because sometimes, a little teasing leads to big alliances. He quipped, firing back with precision. The battle was fierce, bolts of energy lighting up the nebula like fireworks. Zara's claws slashed through holographic controls, directing her cannons with deadly accuracy. Together, they turned the tide. Jax's agile scout dodging debris while Zara's warship unleashed hell, but the traitor was cunning, deploying drones that swarmed like angry hornets. One breached Jax's hull, and he found himself face-to-face with mechanical assassins. He fought hand-to-hand, his human ingenuity shining as he rewired one drone to turn on its kin. Zara, monitoring from her bridge, beamed aboard in a flash of light, her claws ripping through the remaining threats. Standing amid the wreckage, she faced him, breathing heavily. "You saved me, human, why?" Jax wiped sweat from his brow, still smirking. "Call it a hunch. Plus, I couldn't let the universe lose its fiercest fighter over some backstabbing jerk." Her violet eyes softened, and for the first time, a low purr rumbled from her throat, a sign of trust among her kind. Vulnerable and rare, she stepped closer, her gowned armor whispering against the floor, her body heat radiating like a star. As the stars twinkled outside the viewport, Zara leaned in, her claws retracting. "Perhaps you are more than a fool, Captain Jax." The alliance was born in that chaos, a bond sealed by shared peril. They spent hours repairing ships side by side, Jax's jokes lightening the mood, Zara's stories of Zerathian wars revealing depths of loneliness. Her people valued strength above all, but emotion was a weakness. Yet with Jax, she felt alive. Nights blurred into days as they navigated the nebula together, evading patrols from the traitor's allies. In quiet moments, Jax shared tales of Earth oceans, sunsets, human love. Zara listened, her purr growing softer, more intimate. One evening, as they watched a comet streak by, she rested her head on his shoulder, her body curling instinctively. "You provoke me still," she murmured, "but in ways I never imagined." Jax's hand brushed her silver hair, feeling the warmth of her skin. "Good. Life's too short for boredom, even in eternity's playground." Their journey deepened, battles won shoulder to shoulder. Zara's reputation as a destroyer shifted with Jax. She became a protector, and in the afterglow of victory, under a canopy of stars, she finally let go, curling up on his chest in the dim light of the cabin. Her purr vibrated like a contented feline, revealing the vulnerable heart beneath the warrior. But this was only the beginning. The betrayal ran deeper, threatening Zerathia itself. Jax and Zara would face greater storms, their bond tested in flames of passion and war. The nebula faded behind them as they plotted a course to Nethuria. Whispers of rebellion echoed through comms, the traitor's forces amassing. Jax felt Zara's hand on his, her claws gently tracing his skin, a promise of more. In the heart of the galaxy, a human and an alien warrior had sparked a fire that could either save worlds or consume them. And as Zara's purr lulled him to sleep, Jax knew he'd never trade this for safety. As the soft hum of the Asterisk Stellar, Nomad Asterisk S engines blended with Zara's rhythmic purring, Jax lay there in the dim glow of the cabin, his mind racing through the whirlwind of events that had brought them to this intimate quiet. Her body pressed against his, warm and unexpectedly yielding, like a storm cloud that had finally released its rain. The nebula's fading lights cast ethereal patterns across her pale skin, highlighting the subtle sheen of her silver hair as it spilled over his chest. He could feel the gentle rise and fall of her breathing, synchronized with his own, and that purr, deep, vibrating, almost hypnotic, resonated through him like a secret melody only they shared. But peace in the stars was fleeting, a fragile illusion amid the vast, unforgiving void. Jax's hand instinctively traced the curve of her back, his fingers brushing the edge of her iridescent armor, which clung to her like liquid silk, accentuating every contour of her lithe, powerful form. She stirred slightly, her elf-like ears twitching at his touch, and those violet eyes fluttered open, locking onto his with an intensity that made his pulse quicken. "Human," she whispered, her voice a sultry growl laced with the remnants of sleep. "You dare touch a Zerathian warrior so freely?" Jax's grin returned, though his heart pounded with a mix of adrenaline and something deeper, more primal. "Freely, after saving your tail, literally, I figure I've earned a little exploration rights." His words hung in the air, teasing, but the air between them thickened, charged with an electric tension that neither could ignore. Zara shifted, her body sliding against his in a way that sent sparks through his veins, her claws now retracted, grazing his skin lightly, not in threat, but in a curious, almost affectionate caress. She propped herself up on one elbow, her hair cascading like a silver veil, framing her face in a way that made her seem less like a destroyer of fleets and more like a goddess from forgotten myths. Her suit, designed for battle yet impossibly elegant, hugged her curves with a sheen that caught the starlight, revealing the graceful swell of her hips and the taut strength of her thighs. "You provoke me even in repose," she murmured, her tail curling lazily around his leg, a subtle claim that made Jax's breath hitch. In Zerathia, such boldness would earn you a duel, or perhaps something far more intimate. The ship jolted suddenly, a distant alarm beeping from the bridge, subtle at first, like a whisper of danger creeping in. Jax tensed, but Zara's hand pressed firmly against his chest, holding him in place. "Not yet," she said, her eyes darkening with a hunger that mirrored the growing suspense in the air. The alarm grew insistent, hinting at pursuers closing in. Remnants of the traitor's fleet perhaps, but in this moment, the galaxy's threats felt distant compared to the heat building between them. Jax reached up, his fingers tangling in her hair, pulling her closer until their faces were inches apart. He could smell her, an exotic blend of ozone and wildflowers from distant worlds, intoxicating and alien. "Tell me, Zara, what's the Zerathian way of saying thank you for a rescue?" His voice dropped to a husky whisper, his thumb tracing the pointed tip of her ear, eliciting a soft gasp from her lips. She arched slightly, her body responding instinctively, that purr deepening into something more feral, more inviting. Her lips curved into a predatory smile, and she leaned in, her breath warm against his neck. "We don't say it with words, Captain, we show it." With a fluid grace that belied her warrior's strength, she straddled him, her weight settling perfectly, her thighs gripping his sides like velvet vices. The fabric of her suit shimmered under the cabin lights, thin enough to feel the heat radiating from her skin, and Jax's hands roamed upward, exploring the dips and rises of her form. She was a marvel soft where he expected hardness, yielding yet commanding, her jaw white as polished marble but alive with a subtle glow that pulsed with her quickening heartbeat. The alarm blared louder now, red lights flashing intermittently, casting their bodies in a rhythmic crimson hue that amplified the erotic urgency. "They're coming," Jax muttered, his hands pausing at the clasp of her armor, but Zara shook her head, her violet eyes gleaming with defiance and desire. "Let them come. First, you will learn what it means to awaken a Zerathian's fire." She captured his mouth in a kiss that was anything but gentle, fierce, exploratory, her tongue dancing with his in a rhythm that echoed the purr vibrating from her core. It was a clash of worlds, his human warmth against her alien coolness, his boldness meeting her untamed passion. As their kiss deepened, Jax's fingers found the hidden seams of her suit, peeling it away layer by layer with deliberate slowness, building the suspense like a coiling spring. Her skin beneath was flawless, a canvas of pale luminescence that seemed to absorb and reflect the starlight filtering through the viewport. She gasped as the cool air hit her, her body arching into his touch, those razor-sharp claws extending just enough to scrape lightly down his shirt, shredding it without drawing blood, a teasing reminder of her power. "Careful, warrior girl." He breathed against her lips, his hands cupping the fullness of her breasts, thumbs circling in slow, tantalizing patterns that made her purr turn into a throaty moan. The ship rocked again. This time from a glancing shot, the pursuers were closer, their weapons testing the shields, but the danger only heightened the moment, turning their entanglement into a desperate, erotic dance against time. Zara's tail wrapped around his waist, pulling him impossibly closer, her hips grinding against his in a rhythm that promised more. "You humans are so fragile," she whispered, her voice laced with mock concern and genuine awe. "Yet you burn so brightly." She nipped at his earlobe, her teeth sharp but controlled, sending shivers cascading down his spine. Jax flipped them with surprising strength, pinning her beneath him on the narrow bunk, his body covering hers like a shield. The alarms wailed, but he ignored them, focusing on the way her eyes widened in surprise, then softened with invitation. His lips trailed down her neck, tasting the salt of her skin, alien yet familiar, like the sea on a storm-tossed world. She writhed under him, her legs entwining with his, her hands exploring the planes of his back, claws retracted but fingers digging in with urgent need. The erotic tension built like a supernova, every touch, every gasp amplifying the suspense of what was to come, not just between them, but from the encroaching threat outside. "Why do you purr?" he asked between kisses, his mouth moving lower, eliciting soft cries from her that echoed through the cabin. Zara's laughter was low and sultry, interrupted by a moan as his hands ventured further. "It's our soul's song," for trust, for pleasure, for the one who tames the untamable. Her body responded to him in ways that defied logic, her skin warming under his touch, her purr vibrating through them both like a shared heartbeat. The ship shuddered violently, a direct hit straining the shields, and Jax pulled back just enough to meet her gaze. "We have to fight," he said, though his body screamed otherwise. Zara's eyes burned with a mix of lust and battle fury. "Together," she agreed, but before they rose, she pulled him down for one more searing kiss, her tail coiling possessively. "But remember, human, this fire you've started, it doesn't extinguish easily." They disentangled reluctantly, the air heavy with unfulfilled promise, as they rushed to the bridge. Zara's suit reformed around her with a holographic shimmer, but the flush on her cheeks and the lingering purr in her throat told Jax this was far from over. The viewscreen showed 3 enemy ships closing in. Sleek Zerathian vessels turned rogue by the traitor. Lasers streaked past, and Jax dove into the pilot's seat, his hands flying over controls while Zara manned the weapon's console, her movements precise and deadly. "Flank them left," she commanded, her voice steady despite the heat still simmering between them. Jax executed a barrel roll, the *nomad* weaving through debris with agile grace. Zara fired, her cannons erupting in brilliant arcs that disabled one pursuer in a burst of flames, but the others adapted, deploying energy nets that snared the ship, pulling them toward doom. Jax's mind raced, the erotic haze sharpening his focus rather than dulling it. "Hold on," he yelled, activating a hidden thruster mod he'd jury-rigged from salvaged parts. The ship surged free, but not without cost, a hull breach venting atmosphere. Alarms screamed chaos, but in the midst of it, Zara's hand found his shoulder, squeezing with reassurance. "You're more than I expected," she admitted, her purr faint but present, as they countered with a daring maneuver, looping back to strike from behind. The battle intensified. Explosions lit the void, debris pummeling their shields. Jax felt alive, the suspense of survival intertwining with the memory of her body against his. One ship down, but the lead vessel, the traitor's flagship, loomed larger, its weapons charging for a fatal blow. Zara's eyes met his across the bridge, a silent vow passing between them. "If we fall," she said softly, "know that you've awakened something in me no warrior ever has." Jax nodded, his grin fierce. "We're not falling, not when there's so much left to explore." The erotic undercurrent pulsed beneath the suspense, fueling their fight. As the final confrontation built, Jax wondered if this bond, forged in teasing and tempered in passion, could withstand the galaxy's wrath. The stars held their breath, waiting for the climax that would either unite them forever or scatter their ashes to the cosmos. But even as the weapons locked on, Zara's tail brushed his leg, a subtle, intimate reminder that some fires burned brighter in the face of annihilation. The lead vessel's weapons glowed with malevolent energy, a pulsating red orb that promised obliteration, casting eerie shadows across the bridge of the *stellar nomad*. Jax's fingers danced over the controls, sweat beading on his forehead as he pushed the thrusters to their limits, the ship groaning in protest like a wounded animal. Zara stood beside him, her posture unyielding, violet eyes fixed on the viewscreen with a predator's focus, but that subtle brush of her tail against his leg lingered, a thread of intimacy weaving through the chaos. Grounding him in the storm, "They're charging full power," Zara warned, her voice cutting through the blaring alarms like a blade, laced with the dramatic weight of a warrior who had faced death 1,000 times. "One hit, and we're stardust." Her claws extended partially, tapping rhythmic commands into the weapon's array, her body still humming with the residual heat from their earlier encounter. A fire that now fueled her fury rather than her passion. Jax swerved the ship into a desperate spiral, dodging a preliminary barrage that scorched the void where they'd been moments before. The thrill of it surged through him, heart pounding in sync with the engines, every near miss heightening the stakes like a gambler's final bet. "Not on my watch," he shot back, his tone defiant, but curiosity gnawed at him. What drove this traitor so relentlessly? Was it mere power, or something more personal, tied to Zara's past? He glanced at her, catching the flicker of something unspoken in her eyes, a secret that made the moment even more charged. The enemy ship loomed larger, its hull scarred from countless conquests, broadcasting a hail that crackled over the comms. "Zara Voss, the Great Destroyer." A sneering voice echoed, belonging to Commander Draven, her former ally turned nemesis, a Zerathian with ambitions that had festered like a hidden wound. Siding with a puny human. "How the mighty have fallen. Surrender, and I'll make your end quick." Zara's purr twisted into a growl, low and menacing, her tail lashing now with unrestrained anger. "Draven," she spat, the name dripping with venom, revealing layers of betrayal that Jax hadn't fully grasped. "You were always a coward hiding behind schemes. This ends now." She unleashed a volley from the cannons, brilliant lances of plasma streaking toward the flagship, but Draven's shields absorbed them with a mocking shimmer, the energy rippling like laughter. The Nomad shuddered under another impact, sparks flying from a console as systems flickered. Jax's mind raced. Piecing together fragments from their earlier talks, Zara had mentioned Draven once, dismissively, as a rival who'd envied her status. But this felt deeper, more intimate, like a scorned lover's vendetta. "What's the real story with this guy?" Jax demanded, yanking the controls to evade a torpedo that exploded nearby, showering them in debris. The question hung dramatic in the air, curiosity building like suspense in a thriller. Pulling Zara's gaze to him amid the turmoil, she hesitated, her elegant features tightening, ears flattening slightly, a rare sign of vulnerability that surprised him. "Draven?" He sought my hand in the old ways, a union for power. I refused, choosing the stars over chains. Now he twists that rejection into treason, rallying fools to his cause. Her confession added a thrilling layer to the chase, transforming it from a mere skirmish into a personal epic, where hearts and empires collided. Before Jax could respond, the flagship deployed a surprise, a swarm of fighter drones, sleek and deadly, emerging from hidden bays like venomous insects. They buzzed toward the Nomad, lasers peppering the shields in a relentless hail. "Evasive maneuvers," Zara cried, her body moving with fluid grace as she targeted them one by one. But there were too many dozens, weaving in patterns that spoke of advanced AI, perhaps stolen from forbidden tech. Jax's hands blurred on the helm, the ship twisting through the swarm in a ballet of desperation, the G-forces pressing them back into their seats. One drone clipped the wing, sending alarms into overdrive, and smoke began to fill the bridge, acrid and choking. The thrill turned to raw adrenaline. Every second a razor edge between life and void. "We're not going to make it like this." Jax grunted, his voice strained, but his eyes sparkled with that human ingenuity that had first captivated Zara. He spotted a nearby asteroid field, remnants of a shattered moon, and steered toward it without hesitation. "Hold tight, time for some old-school hiding." Zara's eyes widened in surprise, a mix of doubt and admiration flashing across her face. "Into that, it's suicide." But she trusted him now, her claws gripping the console as the Nomad plunged into the rocky maze, boulders tumbling like silent guardians. The drones followed, but the field was an equalizer. Jax navigated with intuitive flair, using the asteroids as shields, slamming drones into stone with calculated grazes. Explosions bloomed behind them, dramatic flares lighting the chaos, each one a thrilling victory that built toward the climax. Draven's voice returned. "Furious now? You can't hide forever. Zara, your human pet will tire, and then I'll claim what's mine, your ship, your legacy, you." The threat carried a curious undertone, possessive and unhinged, hinting at obsessions Jax hadn't anticipated. Zara's purr vanished entirely, replaced by a fierce snarl as she locked onto a cluster of drones, vaporizing them in a spectacular chain reaction that shook the asteroids. But the surprises weren't over. As they emerged from the field's far side, the flagship waited, ambushing with a tractor beam that snagged the Nomad like a fish on a line. The ship lurched, engines straining against the pull, drawing them inexorably closer to the maw of Draven's vessel. "He's got us," Jax admitted, the drama peaking as red lights bathed the bridge in blood hues, systems failing one by one. Curiosity burned. What would Draven do if he captured them? Enslave Jax? Force Zara into submission? Zara whirled to face him, her silver hair disheveled, body glistening with exertion, the erotic tension from before now alchemized into desperate resolve. "Not while I breathe." In a move that thrilled and surprised Jax, she activated a hidden protocol in her suit, interfacing directly with the Nomad S systems, a Zerathian tech he'd never seen. Her eyes glowed faintly, violet deepening to amethyst, as she overrode the engines, boosting power in a surge that made the hull vibrate. "Channeling my life force," she explained breathlessly. "A warrior's last resort." The beam wavered, but Draven countered with boarding clamps, metallic tentacles extending to latch onto the hull with thunderous clangs. "Prepare for intrusion," Zara warned, drawing an energy blade from her thigh holster, its hum matching the thrill in Jax's veins. He grabbed his own pistol. a reliable Earth relic modded with alien tech, and they positioned themselves at the airlock, backs to each other, the air thick with anticipation. The door hissed open, and Zerathian boarders poured in, elite warriors like Zara, but loyal to Draven, their claws extended, eyes blazing with fanaticism. The fight erupted in a whirlwind of motion. Dramatic and visceral, Zara moved like liquid lightning, her blade slicing through armor with elegant precision, a purr of battle rage escaping her lips. Jax fired controlled bursts, his shots finding weak points with human accuracy, dodging claws that raked the air inches from his face. One assailant lunged at Jax, claws aiming for his throat, but Zara intercepted, her body slamming into the foe with bone-crushing force, sending him crumpling. "You will not touch him," she roared, the protective ferocity surprising even her, revealing depths of emotion that added curious layers to their bond. Jax repaid the favor, blasting another who targeted her back, their synergy turning the tide in thrilling bursts, but the numbers overwhelmed, and Draven himself beamed aboard, a towering figure in ornate armor, his face twisted in triumph. "Zara, my intended." He sneered, advancing with a massive vibroaxe that hummed ominously, "and the human who dares steal what's mine." The revelation hit Jax like a shockwave. Intended? Zara hadn't mentioned that detail, the surprise fueling his anger. Draven swung, the axe cleaving the air, forcing Zara to parry with her blade, sparks flying in a dramatic clash. Jax circled, looking for an opening, the climax building as blows rained down. Zara held her ground, but fatigue showed, her life force boost waning. "He's enhanced," she gasped, dodging a strike that shattered a bulkhead. Forbidden implants? Jax's mind whirled, curiosity about Draven's augmentations sparking an idea. Spotting an exposed conduit, he fired not at the traitor, but at the wiring, causing a power surge that disrupted Draven's implants. The villain staggered, his axe faltering, eyes widening in surprise. "What?" Zara seized the moment, her blade thrusting forward in a thrilling arc, piercing his armor. Draven roared, clutching the wound, but Jax followed with a stun shot to the chest, dropping him to his knees. The boarders faltered, leaderless, and Zara's commanding presence turned them, some surrendering, others fleeing back to their ship, as the flagship systems overloaded from the feedback. Explosions rippling along its hull. Jax and Zara stood amid the wreckage, breathing heavily. The dramatic peak subsided into a thrilling afterglow, but surprises lingered. Draven's final words, whispered hoarsely, "This isn't over. The Empire's secrets die with me." What secrets? Curiosity burned brighter, hinting at larger threats. Zara deactivated her boost, slumping against Jax, her purr returning faintly, a mix of exhaustion and relief. "You surprised me again, human." He held her, the bond unbreakable now, as the enemy ship detonated in a spectacular fireball, lighting the stars. But even in victory, the galaxy whispered of more dangers, curious shadows lurking beyond the thrill. The fireball from Draven's flagship expanded like a dying star, its remnants scattering across the void in a glittering haze that painted the asterisk stellar Nomad *S viewport with fleeting bursts of light. Jax held Zara steady as she leaned into him, her body heavy with the toll of her life force channel, that faint purr rumbling against his chest like a distant engine trying to restart. The drama of the battle clung to them like smoke, hearts still racing from the narrow escape. But as the adrenaline ebbed, a new tension crept in, one laced with the weight of unspoken revelations and the awkward intimacy of two beings from different worlds suddenly bound by more than survival. "Secrets, huh?" Jax murmured, his arm tightening around her waist, feeling the subtle curve of her hip through the shimmering fabric of her suit. He tried to keep his voice light, injecting a touch of humor to cut through the heaviness. "What? Did Draven have a hidden collection of bad poetry or something? Odes to Zara's unrequited claws?" He chuckled softly, but it came out forced, the awkwardness settling in as he realized how close they stood, her silver hair tickling his neck, her elf-like ears brushing his jaw in a way that sent unintended sparks through him. Zara pulled back slightly, her violet eyes narrowing in a mix of exhaustion and amusement, though her pale skin flushed with a subtle glow that heightened the drama of the moment, like a warrior goddess caught off guard by mortal wit. Human humor at such a time, you jest about the grave? But a small smile tugged at her lips, her tail flicking playfully against his leg, betraying her. She straightened, regaining some composure, but the effort made her wince, and Jax caught her elbow, guiding her to a nearby console chair. The bridge was a mess, scorched panels, flickering holograms, and the faint scent of ozone mingling with her wildflower essence, creating an oddly domestic chaos amid the stars. As he helped her sit, their hands lingered a beat too long, fingers intertwining in an awkward tangle that neither seemed eager to break. Jax cleared his throat, feeling the heat rise in his cheeks. Damn, when had he turned into a fumbling cadet? Look, about those secrets. If Draven was your intended, does that mean I'm crashing some cosmic wedding? Should I expect angry in-laws with even sharper claws? He waggled his eyebrows, aiming for levity. But the question carried real curiosity, heightening the underlying drama of their fledgling bond. What if this alliance stirred up more than just traitors, old rivalries, forbidden ties? Zara's laugh was low and genuine this time, a throaty sound that vibrated through her, easing the tension but introducing a new awkwardness as she shifted in the chair, her thigh brushing his knee. Intended, a political farce, nothing more. Zerathian unions are alliances of power, not heart. Draven saw me as a trophy, not a partner. Her eyes met his, intense and searching, the drama building as unspoken emotions swirled. But you provoke without scheming. It's disconcerting. She reached up, tracing a finger along his jaw, her retracted claw leaving a tingling trail. But then the ship lurched unexpectedly, a minor aftershock from the explosion, and she tumbled forward into his arms. Their faces inches apart once more, Jax caught her effortlessly. But the position was comically precarious, him half-kneeling, her sprawled across his lap like a scene from a bad holo-romance. Whoa, easy there, warrior princess. If you wanted a hug, you could have just asked. He grinned, but his pulse thundered. The awkward intimacy amplified by the drama of their survival, her body pressed against him, warm and inviting despite the armor, her purr kicking in softly, a vulnerable admission that made the moment both thrilling and embarrassing. Zara's cheeks tinted a rare pink, her elf ears twitching in what Jax now recognized as flustered agitation. "This is undignified," she muttered, but she didn't pull away immediately, her tail coiling around his waist in that possessive way, heightening the electric charge between them. The humor of it broke through, Jax chuckling as he helped her upright. "Undignified?" says the one who just purred her way through a space battle. "Admit it, Zara, you're starting to like this human chaos." He shot him a mock glare, but her lips quirked, the banter lightening the air even as deeper drama loomed. With Draven gone, the path to Nethuria lay open, but his dying words echoed Empire's secrets. What hidden threats awaited in Zerathia's core? Jax plotted the course, the *nomad* humming back to life, but systems glitches from the fight popped up, flickering lights. Erratic sensors that added awkward urgency to their repairs as they worked side by side, patching conduits in the cramped engineering bay. The drama heightened with every shared glance. Zara's suit, damaged in spots, revealed glimpses of her pale, luminous skin, and Jax found himself distracted, fumbling a tool that clattered to the floor. "Stars, you're like a walking distraction," he quipped, bending to retrieve it, only to bump heads with her as she did the same. They froze, noses almost touching, the awkwardness peaking in a burst of shared laughter. "Oh, human skulls are harder than they look," Zara teased, rubbing her forehead, her violet eyes sparkling with humor that softened her fierce demeanor. But beneath the levity, tension simmered. A calm burst interrupted, static-laced but clear, a Zerathian council hail, demanding Zara's report on the human interloper. The voice was stern, laced with suspicion, heightening the drama as Jax realized he was no longer just an explorer, he was a potential enemy in their eyes. "They'll want explanations," Zara said quietly, her hand finding his amid the wires, an awkward gesture of solidarity that felt both comforting and charged. "And they'll see you as a threat, or worse, a curiosity to dissect." Jax squeezed her hand, injecting humor to diffuse the fear. "Dissect? Great, just what I need, alien probes. Tell them I'm taken, got a warrior girl who purrs like a kitten guarding me." She elbowed him playfully, but the drama escalated as the hail repeated. More insistent, they docked the response, Zara composing a message that downplayed Jax's role, but he caught the lie in her words, a protective fib that awkwardized their dynamic further. Was she risking her status for him? Navigating toward Nethuria. The journey turned into a series of awkward situations that blended drama and humor. A hull breach alarm triggered falsely, forcing them into a tight escape pod for safety drills, where proximity led to tangled limbs and stifled giggles. "This pod's smaller than my ego," Jax joked, his arm around her shoulders, feeling her purr vibrate against him. Zara rolled her eyes but nestled closer, the drama of impending arrival making every touch feel like a stolen moment. You humans and your drills, in Zerathia, we face danger head-on, not hide in cans. Yet, as Nithuria's azure orb appeared on the horizon, ringed by orbital defenses that scanned them aggressively, the humor faded into pure drama. Guards beamed aboard upon docking, stern Zerathians with claws at the ready, eyeing Jax like an exotic pest. The council awaits, Voss, their leader intoned, ignoring Jax entirely, which sparked an awkward standoff. Zara stepped forward, her posture regal, but she linked her arm with Jax's, a bold, dramatic declaration that silenced the room. Whispers erupted. A human with our destroyer? The awkwardness hit peak as they were escorted through opulent halls of Orali's palace, Zerathia's gleaming capital. Guards gawked at Jax, one muttering, "Does it? Purr." Jax overheard and couldn't resist. "Only on Tuesdays, buddy." The quip earned a stifled snort from Zara, but it heightened the drama. The council chamber loomed, filled with elders whose violet eyes bored into them like lasers. Inside, the air was thick with incense and intrigue, holographic displays replaying Draven's betrayal. Elder Kale, a wizened figure with silver hair braided in intricate patterns, fixed Zara with a piercing stare. "You bring a human into our sanctum? Explain this. Alliance?" The word dripped with disdain, heightening the tension as accusations flew, whispers of Draven's secrets involving forbidden tech, ancient artifacts that could unravel the Empire. Jax stood silent at first, but when they questioned his loyalty, he stepped up, his voice steady but laced with humor. "Hey, I just saved your deadliest warrior from her ex. That counts for something. Right. Bonus points for not running away screaming." The elders exchanged glances, the awkward silence broken by one younger counselor's chuckle, quickly suppressed. Zara defended him fiercely, her purr underlying her words like a subtle threat. Drama building as she revealed scans from Draven's ship, coordinates to a hidden vault on Nithuria's moon, holding the heart of Zerath, a relic said to control minds or bend reality. Draven sought it for domination, she declared. "With Jax, we stopped him, but others may know." The revelation sent shockwaves, elders murmuring in alarm, the drama peaking as Kale assigned them together to retrieve it before rivals could. "Prove your bond," he commanded, eyeing their linked arms with awkward suspicion. As they left, Jax whispered to Zara, "Moon mission with you? Sounds romantic. Hope there's no exes waiting there too." She smirked, tail swishing, but her eyes held worry. The vault's guardians were legendary. Mechanical horrors infused with ancient AI, en route to the moon in a stealth shuttle. Awkward situations piled on, zero-grav malfunctions had them floating entangled. Jax's attempts at stabilizing leading to humorous collisions. "You're like a magnet." He laughed, pulling her close mid-drift, her body fitting against his perfectly, heightening the intimate drama amid the stars. But as the moon's craters loomed, shadowed and foreboding, the humor gave way to tense anticipation. Scans showed anomalies, energy spikes, signs of intrusion. Landing in a dust storm, they suited up, Zara's armor gleaming, Jax in a borrowed Zerathian exosuit that felt comically oversized. "I look like a kid in Dad's clothes," he griped, eliciting her laugh. Venturing into the vault's entrance, a cavernous maw etched with runes, the drama intensified, traps activated, laser grids slicing the air. Jax's quick thinking disarmed one with a hacked probe, but another caught Zara off guard, a force field pinning her awkwardly against a wall, arms splayed. "Jax," she called, voice strained but with a hint of embarrassment. He rushed over, disabling it, but not before quipping, "Pinned down already, and here I thought you were the fierce one." She freed herself with a playful shove, but gratitude shone in her eyes, the bond deepening amid the peril. Deeper in, they found the vault breached, rival scavengers, non-Zerathian pirates swarming the heart. A firefight erupted, dramatic blasts echoing in the chamber. Jax and Zara fighting back-to-back, her claws rending armor, his shots precise. One pirate leader, a hulking brute, taunted. "The warrior and her pet human, how quaint," Jax retorted. "Pet, nah, I'm the upgrade." Dodging a blow with humorous flair, in the climax of the skirmish, Zara seized the heart, a glowing orb pulsing with energy, but it reacted to her touch, flooding her mind with visions, Empire's fall, hidden betrayals. She staggered, Jax catching her, the awkward vulnerability raw as she clung to him. "It's too much," she gasped, purr erratic. He held her, humor his shield. "Hey, if it's mind control, make it order pizza first." They escaped with the relic, pirates in pursuit, shuttle racing back to Nithuria. but the heart's power whispered temptations. Heightening drama, could it corrupt? Zara's hand in his grounded her, awkward affections blooming into something profound. As they docked, council alarms blared, more traitors revealed by the visions. The Empire teetered, Jax and Zara at the center, their story a whirlwind of drama, awkward hearts, and reluctant humor, as the shuttle docked with a resonant thud against the sprawling docks of Orali's palace. The alarms from the council chamber still echoed in their ears like distant thunder. A stark reminder that the Empire's fragility hung by a thread, with traitors lurking in shadows yet to be unveiled. Jax and Zara stepped out into the bustling corridors, the heart of Zerath secured in a shielded case at her side, its subtle pulse humming through the container like a heartbeat syncing with their own. Guards flanked them, their eyes wary, but Zara's authoritative presence parted the crowd like a wave, her hand still clasped in Jax's, a silent anchor amid the chaos. The visions from the relic had painted grim pictures, covert alliances, stolen technologies, and a web of deceit that reached into the highest echelons. Yet, in the midst of this escalating storm, an unspoken need simmered between them, a desire born from shared perils and tender vulnerabilities, drawing them toward a private sanctuary where they could finally breathe. Elder Kael had granted them quarters in the palace's inner sanctum, a lavish suite overlooking Nithuria's luminous oceans, where bioluminescent waves crashed under twin moons. "Rest, but remain vigilant," he had commanded, his gaze lingering on their intertwined fingers with a mix of suspicion and reluctant approval. As the heavy doors sealed behind them, the outside world's drama faded to a muffled hum, leaving Jax and Zara alone in a space that felt worlds away. Opulent tapestries depicting ancient Zerathian legends adorned the walls. Soft lighting from crystal orbs casting a warm, inviting glow, and a vast bed draped in silken fabrics beckoned like a promise of solace. Zara set the heart down on a secure pedestal, its energy field activating with a soft chime, before turning to Jax, her silver hair, tousled from the moon's dust and the frantic escape, framed her face in wild elegance, her pale skin glowing faintly under the room's ambient light. She stepped closer, her violet eyes holding his with an intensity that made the air thicken, the awkward humor from their journey giving way to a deeper, more urgent connection. "The visions, they showed me futures fractured, empires crumbling," she whispered, her voice a melodic tremor, her tail swaying gently as if seeking reassurance. "But in all of them, you were there, human, my constant." Jax reached out, his fingers brushing her cheek, feeling the smooth, cool texture of her skin warm under his touch, a subtle shift that sent a ripple of anticipation through him. "Then let's make our own future. Right here," he replied softly, his thumb tracing the delicate point of her ear, eliciting a quiet gasp from her lips. The drama of the day had heightened every sensation, turning simple contact into something electric, profound. He pulled her into an embrace, their bodies aligning perfectly despite their differences, his sturdy human frame against her lithe, powerful form, her curves pressing against him in a way that ignited a fire long smoldering. She responded with a fervor that surprised even her, her arms wrapping around his neck as their lips met in a kiss that started tender but quickly deepened, fueled by the pent-up emotions of battles fought and secrets uncovered. Her purr began low in her throat, vibrating through them both, a soothing yet exhilarating rhythm that resonated like a shared secret. Jax's hands explored the contours of her back, finding the hidden clasps of her armor, which parted with a whisper of fabric, revealing more of her luminous skin. She was a vision, elegant lines and soft swells that invited his gaze, her body responding to him with an instinctive grace. Arching slightly as his fingers trailed down her spine, they moved toward the bed, the world narrowing to just the two of them, the Empire's troubles a distant echo. Zara guided him down onto the silken sheets, her movements fluid and commanding, yet laced with a vulnerability that made the moment all the more intimate. She straddled him gently, her hair cascading like a silver curtain, framing their faces as she leaned in for another kiss, her lips soft and insistent. "You awaken parts of me I thought dormant," she murmured against his mouth, her hands roaming over his chest, unfastening his exosuit with deliberate care, exposing the warmth of his skin. The contrast was mesmerizing, her cool, pale form against his tanned, human one creating a harmony that felt destined. Electric? Jax's breath quickened as he caressed her, his palms gliding over the smooth curves of her hips, drawing her closer until there was no space left between them. The purr grew stronger, a deep vibration that thrummed through her body and into his, heightening every touch, every whisper of movement. She shifted, aligning herself with him in a slow, tantalizing rhythm, their bodies connecting in a dance as old as the stars yet utterly new in its passion. Sensations built like a gathering storm, warmth spreading, breaths mingling in soft sighs, her tail curling around his leg in a possessive embrace that added an exotic layer to their union. Time seemed to stretch, the room filled with the soft sounds of their shared intimacy, her purr intertwining with his murmurs of affection, the rustle of sheets as they moved together in perfect sync. Jax marveled at her responses, the way her eyes fluttered, violet depths darkening with pleasure, her ears twitching with each wave of sensation. He held her close, his hands exploring the graceful arch of her back, the fullness of her form, every caress eliciting a deeper connection, a blend of tenderness and fervor that left them both breathless. She whispered his name like an incantation, her body trembling slightly as waves of ecstasy washed over them, building to a crescendo that felt like the birth of a new star, intense, illuminating, and profoundly uniting. In the afterglow, they lay entwined, her head resting on his chest, that contented purr rumbling softly once more, a lullaby of trust and fulfillment. Jax stroked her hair, feeling the silkiness between his fingers, the drama of the outside world creeping back but held at bay by this sanctuary. "Whatever comes next," he said quietly, planting a kiss on her forehead. "We face it like this together." Zara nodded, her body relaxing fully against him, the heart's distant hum a reminder of duties ahead. But for now, this moment was theirs, a beacon of hope amid the Empire's shadows, as dawn's light filtered through the viewport, casting golden hues over their forms. A subtle alert chimed from the pedestal, the heart stirring with new visions, perhaps warnings of impending threats, but Zara silenced it with a wave, pulling Jax closer. Their intimacy reigniting in gentle touches that promised more. The bond they shared had evolved, from teasing provocation to this deep, unbreakable union, fortifying them against the storms to come. Yet, even in repose, curiosity lingered. What other secrets did the relic hold? Jax traced patterns on her skin, eliciting a soft laugh from her, the sound light and free. "You never stop exploring," she teased, her tail brushing his side playfully. He grinned, drawing her into another embrace, their bodies responding anew, the passion simmering just below the surface, ready to flare. Hours blurred as they indulged in each other, the suite becoming a haven where vulnerabilities were shared and strengths amplified. Zara's purr varied, soft and soothing during tender moments, deeper and more urgent when desire peaked again. Jax discovered nuances in her form, the way her skin shimmered under his lips, the subtle glow that intensified with emotion, making every encounter feel like a discovery of uncharted worlds. By midday, duty called with a persistent knock at the door, council summons for debriefing on the visions. They dressed reluctantly, stealing final kisses, the air still charged with their connection. Zara's armor reformed around her, but she left a panel open, a teasing glimpse that made Jax smile. "For luck," she said, her eyes sparkling. Stepping out, they faced the palace halls hand in hand, the drama awaiting them now infused with their shared strength. Whispers followed, guards noting the subtle changes. The way Zara's posture held a new softness, Jax's grin more confident. The heart's visions had revealed a conspiracy deeper than Draven, off-world alliances plotting to seize Zerathia's power cores, using the relic as a key. In the chamber, elders debated fiercely, holograms displaying infiltrated networks. Jax contributed insights from human tactics, earning nods, while Zara's authority commanded respect. But amid the tension, their glances spoke volumes, promises of more private moments, fueling their resolve as plans formed to strike preemptively. Jax and Zara volunteered for the vanguard, their bond a weapon sharper than any claw, the Empire's fate balanced on a knife's edge, but in each other, they found equilibrium. Evening brought them back to the suite, the day's stresses melting away in renewed intimacy. They shed their armors once more, bodies seeking comfort in familiar rhythms, the purr a constant thread weaving through their passion. Sensations layered, warm caresses, whispered endearments, the build and release that left them sated and closer. Zara confided fears from the visions, her head on his shoulder, vulnerability raw. Jax reassured with touches that spoke louder than words, their connection deepening beyond the physical into something eternal. As night fell, they lay watching the moons, bodies intertwined, ready for whatever dawn brought. The story of a human explorer and Zerathian warrior had become legend in the making, forged in fire and sealed in tenderness. As night deepened over Nethuria, the twin moons casting silvery beams through the suite's viewport like silent sentinels. Jax and Zara remained entwined on the bed, their bodies a tangle of limbs and shared warmth that spoke of a connection forged not just in passion, but in the quiet aftermath of chaos. The heart of Zerath hummed faintly from its pedestal, a subtle undercurrent to the rhythm of her purr against his chest, lulling them into a rare peace amid the Empire's brewing storms. Jax traced lazy patterns on her back, feeling the smooth, luminous skin that still fascinated him, cool yet responsive, glowing softly where his fingers lingered. "Whatever dawn brings," he murmured, echoing his earlier words. "I wouldn't trade this for all the stars in the galaxy." Zara lifted her head slightly, her violet eyes reflecting the moonlight, a small smile playing on her lips as her tail curled contentedly around his thigh. "Nor I, my bold explorer, you've tamed the untamable." But as the words left her, the heart's hum grew insistent, shifting from a gentle pulse to a resonant thrum that vibrated through the room, stirring the air like an awakening presence. Zara tensed, her ears twitching alertly, and Jax sat up with her, the intimacy of the moment fracturing into curiosity. "What's it doing?" he asked, his voice low, as holographic tendrils of light began to emanate from the relic, weaving intricate patterns in the air, symbols from ancient Zerathian script. Dancing like fireflies in a cosmic breeze, Zara rose gracefully, her naked form silhouetted against the glow, approaching the pedestal with cautious steps. "It's activating?" Unbidden. The visions earlier were fragments. "This feels like a revelation." She extended a hand, her claws retracting instinctively, and as her fingers brushed the orb, the light intensified, enveloping them both in a warm, ethereal cocoon. Images flooded their minds simultaneously. Not just visions, but immersive experiences that pulled them into a shared dreamscape. Jax felt disoriented at first, the suite dissolving around him, replaced by vast halls of an ancient Zerathian temple, where robed figures chanted in tongues long forgotten. Zara's presence was there beside him, her mental form as vivid as her physical one, but something was off, an undercurrent of familiarity in the scenes that tugged at Jax like a half-remembered dream. The visions accelerated. Eons ago, Zerathia's ancestors had encountered a wandering species, human-like explorers from a lost Earth colony, crash-landed and integrated into their society. Hybrid bloodlines emerged, blending human resilience with Zerathian prowess. But a prophecy foretold a bridge-bearer, one of mixed heritage who would either unite the Empire or shatter it. The twist hit like a supernova exploding in Jax's core. The visions focused on him, his face superimposed over ancient carvings, his lineage traced back through hidden records. He wasn't just a random human explorer. His ancestors had been those lost colonists, their DNA woven into Zerathian nobility through secret unions. But more shockingly, Zara, she was his half-sister? No, the revelation deepened, twisting further. The images revealed Zara's true origins, not a pure Zerathian warrior, but an engineered hybrid herself, created in labs to embody the prophecy, her memories implanted to serve the Empire's elite. Draven hadn't been just a spurned suitor, he'd been her creator, a genetic architect who designed her as the perfect vessel for the heart. Meant to bond with the bridge-bearer to unlock ultimate power, Jax reeled back in the vision, his mental form staggering as the truth unraveled. "This can't be," he gasped, the surprise crashing over him like a tidal wave, his heart pounding with a mix of horror and disbelief. Zara's ethereal figure turned to him, her violet eyes wide with the same dawning realization, the purr in her essence faltering for the first time. "Jax, the heart shows no lies. You carry Zerathian blood, diluted through generations, but potent, and I was made, not born. Draven forged me to find you, to draw you here." The implications exploded in their shared mind. Their bond wasn't chance, it was orchestrated. A genetic pull designed to activate the relic's full potential, turning them into unwitting keys to a weapon that could dominate galaxies or destroy them if resisted. The vision shifted again, revealing the powerful twist's layers. Elder Kale and the Council had known fragments of this, using Zara as bait to lure the lost heir from human space. But Draven's betrayal had been a rogue bid to control it all. Now, with the heart fully awakened by their union, it pulsed with unlocked energy, capable of mind-bending realities or summoning ancient guardians. But the surprise deepened. Jax's human side held an anomaly, a mutation from Earth's wild genetics that could corrupt the relic, turning its power chaotic if not balanced. "We're not just lovers," Zara whispered in the dreamscape, her form reaching for his. We're the fulcrum of fate, bonded by design, yet our choices could defy it. As the visions crested, a surge of energy rippled through, forcing them back to reality. They collapsed onto the bed, gasping, the suite's air charged with the relic's afterglow. Jax stared at Zara, the woman he'd teased, fought beside, and loved, now revealed as a creation tailored for him, a sister in bloodline, yet not, an engineered mate whose purr was programmed to resonate with his latent heritage. The surprise left him breathless, the twist reshaping everything. Their teasing banter in the nebula had been the first pull of destiny, their intimate moments a catalyst for this awakening. How do we even process this? He stammered, his hand trembling as it cupped her face, feeling the same warmth but now layered with profound complexity. Zara's eyes shimmered with unshed tears, a vulnerability she'd never shown, her tail limp in shock. The heart chose to reveal it now, after we've connected so deeply, perhaps to test us. Draven's death wasn't the end, his legacy lives in me, in this. She glanced at the orb, which now glowed steadily, awaiting their command. The drama escalated internally. Jax felt a surge of power within himself, a dormant Zerathian trait awakening, his senses sharpening, colors vivid, sounds amplified. He could hear the distant hum of palace guards, feel the planet's magnetic fields like a sixth sense. I'm changing, he admitted, surprise mingling with awe, as subtle points began to form at the tips of his ears, a genetic echo emerging, but the twist wasn't done unfolding. Alarms blared suddenly from the palace comms, not the subtle chimes of before, but urgent wails signaling invasion. Holographic displays flickered to life unbidden, showing fleets emerging from hyperspace, not rival empires, but ancient automatons, guardians summoned by the heart's activation, programmed to purge any impure wielders. The surprise hit harder. These were Zerathia's own defenses, turned inward by the relic's judgment, deeming their hybrid bond as a threat rather than salvation. It's rejecting us, Zara realized, leaping to her feet, grabbing her armor as it reassembled around her curves. The prophecy warned of corruption, your human wildness, my engineered flaws. We must stabilize it, or Netheria falls. Jax rose, feeling the new energy course through him, his body adapting in real time, claws faintly extending from his fingertips, a purr bubbling in his throat, surprising even him. If we're the keys, we rewrite the lock. They rushed to the pedestal, hands joining over the heart, their minds linking once more. Visions assaulted them again, alternate paths where they embraced the power for conquest, or rejected it and fled. But the twist revealed a third way, merging their essences fully. Human ingenuity blending with Zerathian precision to evolve the relic beyond its ancient programming. 3. As guardians breached the palace outer walls, laser fire echoing in the distance. Jax and Zara delved deeper into the heart's core. The surprise culminated in a revelation that took their breath away. Zara's creation wasn't just Draven's doing. It involved stolen human DNA from Jax's own lineage, harvested centuries ago through time-warped experiments. They were connected by blood, design, and choice, a loop of fate that made their love both forbidden and inevitable. You're part of me, Jax whispered, the twist turning shock into determination. And I'm part of you, let's make it our strength. Energy surged, the heart responding to their unified will, reprogramming the Guardians mid-assault. The automatons halted, turning instead to defend against emerging true threats, cloaked ships from off-world conspirators who'd manipulated Draven from afar. The battle outside intensified, but inside, Jax and Zara emerged transformed, his features now subtly Zerathian, her purr harmonizing with his nascent one, their bond unbreakable. Yet, as the immediate danger subsided, the twist left lingering questions. Who were the real puppeteers behind the conspiracy, and what other hybrids like them existed across the stars? Jax pulled Zara close, their foreheads touching, the surprise settling into a new reality. From teasing a warrior to rewriting destiny, not bad for a human explorer. She smiled faintly, her tail entwining with his emerging one, a surprising appendage that made him laugh in disbelief, or a made warrior finding her true self. Together, they stepped into the fray, Empire saviors born from the most unexpected twist. The palace shook with renewed skirmishes, but their steps were sure, the heart now a tool in their hands. Scouts reported the conspirators' leader, a shadowy figure from Earth's forgotten colonies, perhaps a relative of Jax's, pulling strings to reclaim lost heritage. The surprise layered on family ties across galaxies, turning personal drama into interstellar intrigue. as they coordinated defenses from the command center, elders bowing in awe at their transformations. Jax felt the weight of it all. The twist had upended his world, but in Zara's eyes, he saw mirrored resolve. "We face this as one," she said, her hand in his. The night wore on, battles won through their enhanced synergy, Jax's new senses predicting enemy moves. Zara's strength amplified by the bond. By dawn, the invaders retreated. But the twist promised more, a galaxy-wide hunt for the truth of their origins. In quiet moments amid the victory, they stole kisses, the passion undimmed by revelations, if anything deepened by the shared secrets. The purr they now both shared vibrated in harmony, a symbol of their fused destinies. As Netheria stabilized, Jax and Zara prepared for the next journey to trace the conspirators' trail, uncovering more twists in the fabric of their lives. The stars beckoned, full of surprises yet to unfold. As the first rays of Netheria's dual suns pierced the horizon, bathing Orali's palace in a golden haze that promised renewal yet whispered of unresolved shadows, Jax and Zara stood on the command balcony, overlooking the recovering cityscape, their hands still linked in a grip that felt both natural and newly profound after the heart's revelations. The air buzzed with activity below, Zerathian repair crews swarming like industrious insects, holographic barriers shimmering as they fortified defenses against any lingering threats from the retreated invaders. Jax flexed his fingers experimentally, feeling the faint extension of claws that were now part of him, a subtle reminder of his awakened heritage that made every movement a mix of exhilaration and unease. "So, this is the new me," he said lightly, retracting them with a concentrated effort, though one stubborn tip snagged on his sleeve, tearing a small hole. "Great, now I'm my own tailor. Who knew evolving came with wardrobe malfunctions?" Zara glanced at him, her violet eyes sparkling with a blend of affection and amusement, her own tail swishing in rhythm with his nascent one, a quirky appendage that still felt foreign to Jax, like an extra limb he'd borrowed from a costume shop. She adjusted his torn sleeve with a gentle touch, her purr harmonizing softly with his emerging one, creating a duet that echoed their fused destinies. "You'll adapt, my hybrid explorer. It's endearing, watching you navigate this." But beneath her light tone, drama simmered. The heart's visions had hinted at deeper conspiracies. Shadowy figures from Earth's lost colonies pulling strings like puppeteers in a galactic theater. Their next move was clear: trace the trail to Solara Prime, a fringe world where human Zerathian hybrids were rumored to hide, potentially holding clues to Jax's family ties and the masterminds behind Draven's machinations. They boarded a sleek Zerathian stealth cruiser, the Eclipse Dawn Asterisk, gifted by a grateful council who now viewed them as saviors, though whispers of abominations lingered among the more traditional elders, heightening the underlying tension. As the ship lifted off, engines humming with a power that mirrored their enhanced senses, Jax settled into the co-pilot seat, his pointed ears twitching at every subtle vibration, picking up frequencies he'd never noticed before. "This is wild. I can hear the fuel lines whispering secrets. Or is that just indigestion from palace food?" He shot Zara a grin, injecting humor to ease the awkwardness of his transformations. But when his tail accidentally knocked over a control panel stylus, sending it skittering across the floor, he flushed. "Okay, note to self, tails and tight spaces don't mix. I'm like a bull in a china shop." "In space?" Zara chuckled, a sound that warmed the cockpit, as she plotted their course through hyperspace, her fingers dancing over holographic displays with effortless grace. "In Zerathia, we train younglings to control such gifts. Perhaps I should tutor you privately." Her words carried a teasing lilt, but the drama escalated as the ship's AI chimed in with an incoming transmission, an encrypted message from an anonymous source, claiming kinship to Jax, Bridgebearer. The distorted voice intoned, "Seek the Veil Nebula's hidden outpost. Your blood calls you home, but beware the Watchers." The line cut, leaving them in stunned silence, the awkwardness amplifying as Jax realized this could be a trap or a genuine lead to his relatives. "Whoever that was, they know too much," Zara said, her posture tensing, ears flattening slightly in a sign of unease that Jax now mirrored instinctively. He reached for her hand, but his claws extended unintentionally, pricking her skin lightly. "Oh, sorry, damn, these things have a mind of their own." He retracted them hastily, rubbing the spot with his thumb, turning the moment into an awkward fumble that had them both laughing despite the gravity. "See, even my body parts are conspiring against us. Next, My tail will start giving away state secrets. Zara shook her head, pulling him into a quick embrace, her body fitting against his in that perfect way, but the hug lingered a beat too long. Charged with the drama of uncertainty, were they walking into a family reunion or an ambush? Hyperspace folded around them, stars streaking into luminous lines, but the journey wasn't smooth. System glitches from the heart's energy surge caused intermittent power flickers, plunging the ship into brief darkness. During one outage, Jax groped for a console in the dim emergency lights, only to accidentally activate the galley replicator, which spewed out a cascade of Zerathian delicacies, slimy, glowing orbs that rolled across the floor like escaped marbles. Whoops, dinner's on me, literally. He quipped as one squished under his boot, the awkward mess heightening the humor while underscoring their vulnerability. Zara slipped on another, landing in his arms with a surprised yelp, her luminous skin brushing his in the shadows. Human clumsiness is contagious, she teased, but her purr deepened, turning the mishap into a stolen moment of closeness amid the drama. As they cleaned up, sharing stories to pass the time, Jax recounting Earth legends of star-crossed lovers, Zara revealing Zerathian myths of hybrid heroes, the transmission's implications gnawed at them. If this kin is real, what do I even say? Hey, long-lost cousin, sorry about the claws, new look? Jax's humor masked his inner turmoil, the drama building as scans detected anomalies in the Veil Nebula, cloaked vessels shadowing their path. Watchers indeed. Zara's face hardened, her warrior instincts kicking in. We proceed with caution, but if they're family, perhaps redemption awaits. Yet, awkward doubt crept in. Jax's transformations made him question his identity, human, Zerathian, or something in between, when his purr synced erratically with hers during a tense scan, vibrating the controls. He joked, "Great, now we're a walking earthquake. Hope the bad guys aren't ticklish." Emerging from hyperspace into the nebula's swirling mists, colors dancing like auroras on steroids, the outpost appeared, a derelict station orbiting a rogue planetoid, its structure a patchwork of human and Zerathian tech, flickering with intermittent power. Docking proved tricky. Magnetic interference caused the asterisk Eclipse Dawn asterisk to bump clumsily against the bay, jolting them forward. Smooth as silk, Jax muttered sarcastically, unstrapping as his tail got caught in the harness, yanking him back with a comedic snap. "Oh, remind me to get tail insurance." Zara stifled a laugh, helping him free, but her eyes scanned the airlock with dramatic intensity. Sensors showed life signs inside, hybrid signatures matching Jax's emerging profile. They entered cautiously, weapons holstered but ready, the station's corridors echoing with creaks and distant hums. Dim lights cast long shadows, heightening the suspense as they navigated rusted grates and flickering holograms displaying ancient logs. An awkward encounter awaited in the central chamber, a group of hybrids, their features a blend like Jax's, pointed ears, subtle tails, pale skin with human warmth greeted them warily. Leading them was Alara, a woman with silver-streaked hair and violet eyes strikingly similar to Zara's, claiming to be Jax's aunt from the Lost Colony line. "Nephew," she said, her voice a melodic growl, extending a clawed hand. Jax hesitated, the drama peaking as he sensed a familial pull, but when he shook her hand, his claws extended involuntarily, interlocking with hers in a Zerathian greeting he didn't know he knew. Hi, Aunt Alara, this is awkward. Family reunions usually involve potato salad, not prophecies." Alara's laugh was genuine, easing the tension slightly, but humor turned to drama as she revealed the twist's extension. The conspirators weren't just off-world, they included council moles on Nethuria, using hybrids like them as pawns in a bid for galactic dominance. Your bond activated the heart, but it also alerted the true puppeteers, a syndicate blending human corporations and Zerathian dissidents. The awkwardness hit when Alara scanned Jax, her device beeping erratically. "Your transformations are accelerating, human unpredictability is causing glitches. You might sprout wings next," Jax quipped. "Wings? Awesome, free flights, but seriously, no more surprises, my tail's already a handful." As they delved into logs showing syndicate plans, raids on power cores, mind control experiments, the station shook violently, incoming attackers, syndicate forces breaching the nebula's veil. Drama exploded in a firefight. Lasers scorched walls as Jax and Zara fought back-to-back with the hybrids, his new senses dodging blasts with uncanny precision. "Left flank," Zara shouted, her blade humming, but Jax's tail tripped a foe accidentally, sending him sprawling. "Unintentional assist, score 1 for the appendage," he yelled, humor cutting through the chaos. Alara joined the fray, her claws rending armor, but a stray shot grazed Jax, heightening the stakes. Zara's protective roar echoed, her purr turning feral as she shielded him, the awkward vulnerability raw amid the battle. "You will not take him," she snarled, dispatching assailants with lethal grace. Jax repaid by hacking a console with his enhanced intuition, activating station defenses, turrets whirring to life, turning the tide. In the aftermath, amid smoking debris, Alara clasped Jax's shoulder. "You're the bridge we needed, but the Syndicate's leader, your grandfather, twisted by ambition, awaits on Earth's shadow colony." The revelation added layers of drama, family betrayal on a cosmic scale. Jax's humor surfaced weakly. "Grandpa's a villain. Holidays just got weirder." They evacuated to the asterisk Eclipse Dawn asterisk, hybrids in tow, plotting a course to confront the source. Awkward situations piled on during repairs, Jax's claws short-circuiting a panel, sparking literal fireworks. "Who needs romance when you've got pyrotechnics?" He joked, Zara pulling him from the smoke with a kiss that blended laughter and passion. As they hurtled toward destiny, the drama intensified, Syndicate transmissions taunting them, promising revelations that could shatter their bond. Yet, in stolen moments, Jax and Zara found strength in each other, his quips lightening her worries, her presence grounding his changes. The galaxy's fate hung in balance, but their love, awkward and humorous as it was, became the ultimate weapon. As the asterisk Eclipse Dawn asterisk streaked through the void toward Earth's shadow colony, a forsaken outpost on the fringes of Sol system. Cloaked in asteroid belts and forgotten by mainstream humanity, Jax and Zara shared the cockpit in a silence that was comfortable yet laced with the electric undercurrent of impending confrontation. The hybrids from the Nebula outpost, including Aunt Alara, had integrated seamlessly into the crew, their shared traits creating a sense of extended family that Jax was still wrapping his head around. His tale, now more controlled after Zara's patient tutoring sessions filled with laughter and gentle corrections, swished thoughtfully as he reviewed Syndicate intel on a holographic display. Grandpa's hideout looks like a villain's lair from those old Earth vids, complete with doom lasers and dramatic lighting. "Think he'll have a mustache to twirl?" Jax quipped, his humor a shield against the drama swelling within him. The awkward realization that family could be the source of such betrayal weighing heavy, Zara, piloting with her usual precision, glanced over with a soft smile, her hand reaching to squeeze his knee, a gesture that had become second nature. "Grounding them both? If he does, we'll make sure it's his last twirl. But remember, Jax, this isn't just vengeance, it's closure for us all." Her purr intertwined with his, a harmonious vibration that soothed the tension, reminding him how far they'd come from that initial teasing standoff in the nebula. The ship hummed in agreement, systems stabilized after the earlier glitches, carrying them toward a resolution that promised to tie the loose threads of prophecy, heritage, and love into a tapestry of triumph. Colony loomed as a jagged silhouette against the starry backdrop, its domes scarred by meteor impacts and makeshift defenses bristling with Syndicate weaponry. Scans revealed a labyrinthine base burrowed into the rock, teeming with guards, human mercenaries blended with Zerathian exiles, all loyal to the enigmatic leader, Harlan Voss, Jax's grandfather, a man who'd twisted his hybrid bloodline into a tool for domination. As they approached under stealth cloak, drama built like a crescendo, Alara's voice crackled over comms from the rear hold. "He's expecting challengers, but not family. Use that?" Jax nodded, feeling the pull of blood ties mingled with revulsion, awkward emotions churning as he suited up. His enhanced senses picking up the faint metallic tang of the colony's atmosphere even from orbit. Docking covertly in a shadowed crater, they infiltrated with the precision of a well-oiled team, Zara leading with her blade at the ready, Jax covering flanks with his pistol, now augmented by heart-infused tech that made shots uncannily accurate. The corridors were a maze of echoing metal and dim red lights, patrols chattering about the old man's grand plan, harnessing hybrid energies to control the heart remotely, bending empires to his will. An awkward moment arose when Jax's claws scraped loudly against a grate during a stealthy crawl, alerting a guard. "Freeze!" the mercenary barked, but Jax's tail whipped out instinctively, disarming him with a comedic slap. "Whoops, didn't mean to go full cat on you." Jax whispered as Zara subdued the man silently, her eyes rolling in fond exasperation. "Your upgrades are a double-edged sword. Love." Deeper in, they encountered resistance, a squadron of enhanced drones, there forms a grotesque fusion of machine and biology, charging with whirring blades. The fight was visceral, drama unfolding in flashes of laser fire and claw strikes. Zara moved like a shadow, her suit shimmering as she dismantled foes with elegant fury. While Jax's new agility shone, he leaped over a drone, landing with a quip, "Parker in space, who knew?" But a blast grazed his shoulder, pain flaring hot, heightening the stakes as his hybrid blood, dripped onto the floor. Zara's protective growl echoed, her purr turning fierce as she shielded him, dispatching the last drone with a savage thrust. "You not leaving me that easily," she murmured, binding his wound with tender care amid the wreckage, their foreheads touching in a brief, intimate pause that fueled their resolve. Pushing on, they reached the core chamber, a vast cavern lit by the pulsating glow of a makeshift heart replica. Harlan Voss presiding from a throne-like console, his features a weathered mirror of Jax's silver hair, pointed ears, but eyes cold with ambition. Flanked by elite guards, he rose with a dramatic flourish, his voice booming. "The prodigal grandson returns, and with my finest creation Zara, the perfect hybrid mate." The revelation hung heavy, Voss revealing he'd engineered Zara using DNA from Jax's line, harvested during exploratory raids, to draw the bridge-bearer back. "You were always meant for this, power beyond stars." The awkward betrayal stung. Jax felt like a pawn in a family game he never knew existed. "Grandpa, this reunion sucks. No cookies, just conquest, lame." Voss laughed, a chilling sound, activating defenses, energy fields crackling, guards advancing. The climax erupted in chaos. Alara and the hybrids burst in from side entrances, turning the tide into a symphony of battle. Jax and Zara fought as one, their synced purrs vibrating the air, disrupting the replica heart's frequencies. Voss unleashed a psychic assault via the device, visions of domination flooding their minds, empires kneeling, galaxies enslaved. But Jax's human unpredictability corrupted it, twisting the illusions into absurd parodies. Voss as a clown ruling a circus of stars. "Your wild blood ruins everything," Voss snarled, lunging with a vibrostaff. In the fray, Zara parried, her blade clashing sparks, while Jax's claws interfacing directly, a newfound ability that surprised even him. "Eat code, old man." Overloading systems. Guards fell, Alara disarming her brother Voss with an emotional plea. "This ends our family's curse." But Voss, cornered, triggered a self-destruct, the chamber rumbling as countdowns blared. Drama peaked in the escape, racing through collapsing tunnels, Jax carrying an injured Alara, Zara blasting debris. "Not dying today, too much to explore," Jax quipped, his humor a lifeline as they piled into the eclipse Dawn blasting off just as the colony erupted in flames. Voss's legacy scattering to the void. In the aftermath, aboard the ship hurtling toward Nethuria, peace settled like a gentle nebula mist. The Syndicate crumbled, its networks exposed by captured data, allowing the Council to purge moles and forge alliances with human colonies. Jax's transformations stabilized, his hybrid form a badge of unity rather than awkwardness, claws retracted at will. Tail a playful companion that Zara often entwined with hers. They stood on the observation deck, watching stars blur, her head on his shoulder, from provoking a warrior to saving galaxies. She whispered, her purr a contented rumble. "You've given me a life beyond design." Jax turned her to face him, his violet-tinged eyes meeting hers. "And you've shown me families more than blood, it's choice. Let's build something new, a bridge between worlds, with a side of adventure." They kissed under the cosmos, the heart now safely attuned to their bond, pulsing softly in the hold. A symbol of hope, Alara, recovering nearby, smiled knowingly. Prophecy fulfilled, but on your terms. Years blended into legend, Jax and Zara as ambassadors, exploring uncharted realms, their love inspiring hybrids across stars. They raised a family, children with silver hair and human spark, purring tales of their parents' epic. Awkward moments became fond memories, Jax's tale mishaps at diplomatic dinners, Zara's engineered quirks turning into strengths. Humor laced their days. Drama resolved into harmony. In quiet evenings on Nethuria, watching oceans glow, Jax would tease. "Remember when I called you gorgeous in that nebula?" Zara's laugh echoed. "And now, you're mine, claws and all." Their story ended not with finality, but an open vista, endless stars, boundless love, a testament to humanity's indomitable spirit intertwined with alien grace. As the eclipse Dawn carried them into forever, the galaxy whispered of new beginnings, where teasing led to eternity. And so, in the endless expanse of the cosmos, Jax and Zara's journey became a beacon for all, proving that love, born from a simple tease, could conquer empires and rewrite destinies. Their legacy echoed across stars, inspiring generations to embrace the unknown with open hearts. Personally, I love how this story celebrates human ingenuity and alien grace, blending humor, romance, and epic twists into something truly captivating. What do you think? Would you tease a deadly alien warrior for a chance at cosmic love? Thank you all for watching. Your likes, subs, comments, and shares are our biggest motivation to create even better stories. See you in the next adventure.